Just to give you all a little bit of background with me, I started as a sales professional, and because of the technical streak that I have that runs through me, I went back to school to get my MBA in e-commerce and computer information systems back in the late 90s. And for those of you that are old enough to remember, they didn't really have a digital marketing degree back in the late 90s, especially for MBA. So I'm part of the first graduating class in a business administration, an MBA program that has a digital marketing degree, and have been pretty much doing that ever since. Again, because of that streak within me, and because of my knowledge and excitement of sales, the sales process, CRM, and automating things to make it easier so that companies can, with their sales team, work smarter and not harder. I worked for Pivotal for a while, and then started my own company that focused on a lot more of the digital marketing side of that business. And it's really because I love doing something new every single day. We have a new challenge approaching us. Technology changes rapidly on a regular basis. What we once thought was cool and hip is now old, and we're always looking for the next best thing to help us automate and make our lives and our salespeople more efficient and effective. And we have clients around the country. I lived in Atlanta for 10 years before I moved back up to Chicago. So we help companies in a lot of different industries. I built the first blog for Equifax, and we ran their content marketing for 5 years before they took it in-house for their digital marketing agency. So I have a little bit of experience in working with a lot of different industries and a lot of different local markets and a lot of different ways with the public, consumers, business to business, B2C, and that sort of thing. I want to focus today, though, on marketing automation and how to make it easy and simple for your sales team to have the tools that they need to do the best job that they can. And if you think of the analogy of your marketing automation engine to be the pit crew behind your driver, and you're trying to win the race, you're trying to help them achieve their goals, you're trying to drive top line revenue, your marketing automation engine really helps them, like a race car pit crew, stay focused on the goal. It helps them remain salespeople and helps them with the touch points that they need so that when the customer, when the prospect is ready to make a purchase decision, the salesperson is there ready and in their wheelhouse doing their thing because they have this kind of 360-degree view of the communication history and everything that's gone behind it. Because in today's world, the buying cycle has changed. It's changed not only in B2C, but also B2B, where it's easy to think you have a need, sit down at your computer and do a quick Google search and find all of the companies that could fill your need. So everyone out there is going to be Google searching your competitors. How do you stand out as a competitor from your competitors so that you remain in the awareness cycle so that they consider purchasing from you? And you got to get them to the point where they're using the tools to engage with you so that you have the opportunity, your salespeople have the opportunity to sell to them during their purchase cycle. So that once they purchase, that's where it starts today, right? It used to be that's where the process ended. And once they purchase, that's great. We're going to service them and that's it. Now that's where the process starts. That's where you create loyal brand advocates so that people talk about you, engage with you, and start and talking about their experience with you online, so that the next prospect that is looking for your product, you become part of their awareness cycle, not only because of what you do through your sales and marketing automation processes, but through your happy customers and their conversations about you. So how do you create this kind of environment for engagement where people talk about you and you can get this 360-degree view of the customer, not only from the customer standpoint, but your partners, your influencers, and other things. So it all starts with your employees, right? So when you publish something online, when you send out an email through marketing automation, you want your employees to interact with it. You want them to know that it was sent. You want that to be part of your normal business process so that they can, so that post or that content or that email has some level of follow-up for your salespeople. That's kind of the low-hanging fruit where if you post something online and the boss says, hey, I want you to go interact with it, the employees are of course going to go do that. And once they start getting into that habit of interacting, now you can ask your influencers, your partners, the same people that will benefit. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. It's easy in lots of different industries to understand it, but think about that, the realtor that needs the mortgage person, the realtor that needs, the home inspector. It's easy to see who their partners are. Maybe you're a lender and you need more programs. So you have a lot of influencers that you work with to help with your decision. Maybe you're a software company and you need, Steve, Sean, and their team to implement the software solutions for you. So the second level is those influencers. So get them to engage with you. And then third is your customers. Once you have your employees and it's a transparent environment engaging and you have your influencers engaging, you'll get past customers to start talking about you to create this environment for engagement where people are going to continue to talk about you online. And at that point, you may get prospect interaction. And that's really what the goal is. But if you don't set the foundation for your prospects, they're not going to feel comfortable giving you that commitment and endorsement until you have the other three areas. And the reason today we're going to talk about marketing automation so heavily is because not only through COVID and some of the other transitional things that we're going through right now, but with the transition and the growth of digital technology, 31% growth year over year for marketing automation platforms. We are definitely in an area where we need help communicating in a way that our customers hear us, our customers see us, our prospects know what's going on. If your competitors are growing at a rate of 31% and you're not, you're going to be left behind. And really what you need to help your sales team with is this concept of the 360-degree view of the customer and the prospect. And CRM does a great job of tying it all together. What marketing automation is on the front end of CRM is adding that prospect automation and continuous nurturing automation to your customer relationship tool so that everyone gets the same kind of interaction. We're going to talk about that integration here in a little bit. But what makes marketing automation so great for us? And we use SharpSpring, and we selected SharpSpring among all the other solutions, not only because of the cost, but also because of the effectiveness. It's similar to what Marketo does, and Mailchimp or Constant Contact on steroids. Those systems fail by comparison in terms of functionality. But what SharpSpring does is it allows you to see when visitors come to your website. Once you've sent them email, once they've visited your website, you'll know every time they come back. You'll be able to see the kind of activity that they do, the things that they do and the actions they take on your website. And you'll be able to associate those activities and the information you have about them, and through the integration, what the salespeople do with them, you'll be able to associate a lead score to them. And you'll know what campaign they came from. In this case, you can see it's a direct traffic unit, and I was added 9 months ago, and my lead score is 143. And in my system, I know what 143 means, and that can be customized and set up so that you know what 143 as a lead score means to you. Actually, because I go to our website a lot, it's a higher number. But ours are based on about 150 to 200 are the hot leads. 100 to 80 to 100 are good. And with us, with the way that we've set it up, and again, it's customizable and configurable in SharpSpring, I give an extra point to any page on our website that a customer visits. We give 5 extra points for someone that fills out a form. I give extra points for when someone tells us their location and things like that. If they fill out the form that says they're looking for a website project, or they want us to do content marketing, or they have a graphic design project, they get points for that. If they come back to our website and they haven't been there for a while, they get points for that. So we completely configure how we generate what that lead score is, because we want to look at our prospect database in our marketing automation tool to understand which of those prospects should be followed up with by our salespeople. So think about it this way. The lead score, think about the lead score this way. If your sales cycle, and ours is a little bit longer, if your sales cycle is like a year or two, like ours is, sometimes you don't know that you need a new website for a year and you're going to build one next year, so our sales cycle is a little long. If someone evaluates us and then they don't visit our website, and then 6 months after they visited our website and they go to a page where they look at website development, and I get a notification in my CRM tool that this prospect just came back to my website, that's very valuable information out of a tool like this. So how do I then use that to create marketing automation so that I'm not only generating leads, and as a salesperson, as the driver of our process, how do I not only generate those leads, but use marketing automation to schedule an appointment or create brand awareness or drive sales so that I can win, hit the checkered flag, or really achieve our goals. So that's how I want you to think about marketing automation. In SharpSpring, they have this really cool defined lead score tool that's called the life of the lead. You can see in the timeline when someone visited our website, when we sent them an email, when they opened an email. There are a lot of different activities that are logged every time someone takes action. And your salespeople, your marketing folks, they can look at each of these actions as a trigger and schedule some type of marketing automation off of them. We're going to talk about the easy ones in our conversation today, when someone fills out a form, or when you have an event that you want to invite people to and what happens then, or when they visit your website and prior to either live chat or sending an email, you want to give them some tools that they can that can help them in a live chatbot environment. We're going to talk about that, but defining the lead score in a timeline so you can see what they do and when they do it online is definitely critical information to use. And again, your pit crew, the automation can be set up very easily. And here's a relatively simple example of an action group or a workflow. They're all kind of set up the same, where the trigger happens in the very beginning. It's hard to read, but you can see that someone visited the website and they filled out the form, and the form had 2 possible answers. And if they answered it one way, they go down the left tree. And if they answered it a second way, they go down the right tree. And then they from this workflow, they enter the gray area box, which is an action group. And the action group, those are email integrations that are email messages that go out, and there's time in between when one might happen or when the next thing might happen. So someone fills out a form on your website. If the form says that they're interested in websites, they get 1 series of events. If the form says they're interested in graphic design, brand, or content, they get another series of events. They instantly get an automated piece that says, "Thank you for registering on my website. Steve Lukowicz is going to be in touch with you shortly." And then the system creates a to-do item for Steve that says, Mitch Levinson was just on our website and they filled out a form and they're interested in CRM or branding or whatever it is. And Steve now has an activity for him to follow up directly with them. Steve does his sales process totally separately from marketing automation, but 3 or 4 days later, this record now gets another follow-up to it. I know you've been in touch with Steve talking about your new website, but do you realize that when you build a new website with us, you'll get 6 times the industry average in terms of conversion? Those are important follow-up emails to get so that the marketing automation engine can help your salesperson with their anywhere between 5 and 12 touch points before they're ready to make a decision. Because we all know as marketers, someone has to see your product, they have to see your brand, they have to become aware of you, and somewhere between 5 and 12 times for them to be ready to make a purchase decision. So marketing automation does some of that, really a lot of that. And then Steve Lukowitz, your salesperson, they do all of the hand holding, the touch points, the very specific sales process for that sales to happen. So again, the marketing automation could be, workflow, action groups, chatbots. It could be driven by any number of different triggers that could happen at a form level. It could happen at a record level. It could happen, based on an opportunity or a proposal that was sent out. There's a lot of different things that can be set up for that to happen. And then what could be sent are not only regular emails, but also smart mails. So think of a smart mail as a mail merged email draft ready to go that would fill in the name and information of the record, but that the salesperson or the marketing person could edit on the fly if they need to send them something personal, slightly different in a semi-automated way. I would be reminded of it. I would go and I would create the email. I could either send it or schedule it to be sent, or I could customize it and personalize it directly for my prospect and buyer. So all of that makes it a lot easier for me as a salesperson to work smarter and be more effective by using a lot of these very effective tools. And really, the goal of these tools is to create some sort of call to action. You're trying to be in front of the prospect, the customer, the past customer. You're trying to be in front of them so that they take some sort of an action, so that they take some sort of a sales action and ask for more information and be curious. Give them a little bit of a taste of what they're looking for and have them want more. So these triggers for this marketing automation could be set up with or behind what you see here on the screen on the left as a chatbot, which sits very clearly on the bottom right of our website. If you visit our website, you would see this chatbot, or on a contact form, which again is very clearly and visible on our website. So I'm trying with our marketing and our marketing automation to create an environment where our prospects and customers are comfortable asking us questions in a way that they know not only they're going to get the response, but they're going to get a response from an expert that knows what they're talking about in a timely manner that's designed specifically to help them with their need and their process. Because at the end of the day, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And I'm trying to build that relationship through marketing automation so that my salespeople can give them personalized service. So that's really where we're trying to get to, that call to action. And a series of email marketing templates and campaigns. I don't know if I have anyone on the call today, or if you're listening to this that used to be afraid of having your salespeople, send out emails or interact with people in social media. I want my salespeople to sell. And that mentality, that thought process, I never really understood, because your salespeople are the front line of offense. They are the person that your prospects are going to be in contact with most. It makes the most sense to put them in the front. It makes the most sense for your salespeople to be the face and the ones who are interacting with you on social media. Now, I agree that salespeople may not always know what to write or say. And I agree that they may not, they're out there, having fun, driving business. If they're hunters, they're hunting. If they're farmers, they're farming, for business. But marketing automation gives you the ability to give them the tools so that they know what to write, and you help them with that script or that message in an email template, in a smart mail template, in a, even if it's a Word document, that you help them with what their social update should be. How do you, again, give your salespeople the tools so they say the right things to the right people so that it helps them drive revenue? There's a huge focus on, improving your ability. We know that when we send out email marketing pieces, we're going to get roughly 30% open rate and anywhere between 1.5% and 2% from a click-through rate, depending on what the content is in that e-blast. And, that's really important for improvement. I don't know what kind of results your team is getting when you're sending out different email marketing messages to your current existing customer base or prospects that you either met at a trade show or filled out a form on your website or wherever you're getting your prospect list from. But making sure that you build key performance indicators into your process and understand how to use them strategically to make adjustments so that you improve on those numbers every time you run something. That's what's important. So the metrics are only good. Data is only good if you turn it into information and you use it. So when we first started with SharpSpring, some of these tools, our open rates were in the low 20s. And I think for marketing agencies, our industry average is about 20 to 24%. So we were good, but we were not great in terms of open rates. And being able to have a tool that shows who opened, how often, what they were looking at, where they were clicking, and all of the things that it does, not only in the one single e-blast that I send out, but in the 6 or 7 long series of emails that I send out, which ones are clicked on more often and which ones do better. We've been able to improve that number up, as you can see right here, up to just over 30%. So, having more effective marketing touch points is very significant in your marketing automation tool and program. And again, you can look at what people are clicking on, what they're looking at, where they're going and what type of activity they're performing while they're on your site, while they're looking at your email, while they're consuming your content. And really, that is what is important in today's market, right? How do I get people to consume my content so that they are aware and consider me the expert when they're making their purchase decision? That's the value of marketing automation. And again, as the driver, I want my salespeople to be fully armed and aware of all of these things that happen. Your salespeople can see a full 360-degree view of not only the customer, but the prospect and the communication they're getting, not only from your salespeople, but from everyone else in your company, including your marketing automation engine, so that the driver can drive sales. Marketing automation can create a lot of different types of things. They can send out smart mail, they can create sales tasks, they can track communication, you can add notes. There's a lot of different things that you can do and see along the way in this marketing automation tool set. You can also log calls and write notes about activities that your salespeople take when they're calling on the customer, because we all know that people in person is much more effective than email. Email is good for branding and sharing communication in quick snippets, but nothing is going to replace a good salesperson looking you in the eye, shaking your hand specifically, calling you on the phone, sending you a handwritten thank you note, and all of that needs to be logged and added to your CRM system and combined with what happens in marketing automation so your salesperson can do the best job that they can possibly do. Having help so that your salespeople can work smarter and not harder, based on some of this marketing automation and the automated sales tasks that can happen. So here is an example of an action group. There's a custom field, date of interest. So we're going to talk about our podcast recording in a little bit. But you can see that there's something happened, a date happened, and our podcast was released. And then a notification was sent. The email was sent to the guest about it. And then a notification was sent to the salesperson so that they can follow up with that lead. And all of that happens in the activity. And then I get in my activity a to-do list item for what I need to do and how I need to communicate with that lead. And when something happens, I then create a note in the system so that anyone that sees behind it, anyone that follows up with that customer after me, can see the communication that has happened, that I've done, that they've done, and we all have visibility into that customer so that we can do the best we can. Because again, at the end of the day, it is all about staying connected, and it's all about that 360-degree view of the customer, and it's creating that customer interaction and engagement so your salesperson can do their job most effectively. So that was the first part of our process where we talked about strategic marketing automation as it related to, kind of that overview based on a form and something like that. And before we get into automation for events, I just wanted to open up if anyone had any quick questions or anything I should elaborate on more before we move on to the next area. That's a great question. If you have not yet done any sort of marketing automation or even email marketing, the first step is looking at your prospect list and cleaning the list to make sure that you have real names, usable names, and people that you've captured personally from your website, you've captured over time. And then once you have that list cleaned and you are able to use it, it's the strategy in thinking through what kind of messages do I want to make sure that they receive? How do I want to set them up? What triggers and actions, what's the strategy? What are the triggers and actions that will cause a marketing automation campaign to be triggered? So someone fills out a form, that's an easy one. Someone goes to Facebook and posts something or asks you a question. Someone sends an email to your salesperson. Someone goes into their record and updates a field. Your salesperson sends them a proposal. There are a lot of triggers and a lot of things that we need to think about. So the first step is making sure you have a good list. The second step is brainstorming all of those triggers that you may want to build a campaign towards. And then the third step is building that campaign. So strategically speaking, you want to make sure that you have that thought through before you start looking at it. We're going to see at the end a very serious workflow automation that I built for our chatbot. And it's definitely pretty cool, and it's definitely intricate and intense. But at the same time, once I thought through what it was that I wanted to build and that I thought my website visitors were going to have questions about, it was really kind of easy to build. And I looked at where they went on the website and what their user behavior was and what kind of questions I typically got in the request information, ask questions field. But that would be, Steve, where I would start them out. First is the list, second is the trigger, and third is the campaign. I'm going to move on to strategic marketing. So let's say that you have an event, and we had an event. We do a podcast, and we did have a special guest on our podcast in season 4, episode 25, Sean Grant. He was our guest for our podcast. So in Sharp Spring, we set up an event-driven workflow. And just in case you all were very interested in hearing Sean talk about marketing for Takara and Pivotal and his solution, it's a great episode. You can go to Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen to podcasts and just search for Staying Relevant and Sean Grant. and you'll be able to find the episode. So it's pretty cool. You're definitely going to hear him and what he had to say. So we set up this podcast, and for us, setting up an event for a guest to come and record was one workflow. The second workflow was based on the guest and the podcast being released and having it launched. So you can see that there were really two events contained in this one event. So we built two different workflows and action groups surrounding these two events. But the one that we're going to demonstrate here is the podcast recording date. So before that date, and it was a couple of weeks before, our logistic person and our graphic designer were both sent notifications that this date is about to happen. And Sean got an email that was the introduction that said, send to our graphic designer your bio and your headshot and all the other information that we're going to need through the podcast. Here are a series of questions that we may want to ask and that you are going to want to be prepared for, and maybe type up and send to us so we can have an open dialogue and a conversation. And then here's a little bit of logistics. And then the day before the event, that happened a week before the event. And then the day before the event, Sean got another reminder that said, well, in Sean's case, because we did it via Zoom, here is the Zoom link for your podcast. But in that same email, because it is a smart and dynamic email, we have podcasts that come out and actually record in person still. There was a time period that they didn't through COVID, but anyways, to come out, we do it socially distant and we wear masks some of the time. And we do socially distant in-person podcasts. So that paragraph in that same email, one email, two different paragraphs based on whether it's a Zoom or an in-person recording, has different information. One is the address of the studio and one is the Zoom link and directions to the studio, and don't forget to log on 5 minutes early, and different information for differences, but again, the same simple single email. So Sean received the email very specific and personalized to his recording experience. But also on that day, the day of recording, after the recording, Sean got an email that said, hey, you might want to, go on your social media accounts and, like our page and say that you really appreciated the recording and you're looking forward to whatever the future date was going to be that this was going to be released. So you can start teasing your audience. So we use it for our guests to help create urgency for their episode in their environment. So we're building this kind of urgency for them and reminding them through email marketing automation to do it when is appropriate. And by the way, in that same email, we've given them what we think works as an update. So they literally have to cut and paste and change a couple of things or add the date and tag us in it, and they're ready to go. We make it so simple for them, and all we've done is written that script once, and it's sent out regularly to the guest at the appropriate time when they get it. So again, it also sends me, just so you know, I get a sales task to go in and look at the metrics of that recording a week later. And I then also get a reminder to make sure that I like it on Facebook and on LinkedIn. And I go and I try to build some level of awareness for it through my channel. So I get that same kind of sales task reminder in our CRM system because again, this marketing automation is not just for prospect development. It's also to create this environment for engagement so that your employees, your salespeople, and even the president of the company might want to know when a podcast or an event is happening so that they can take action that affect the awareness within their sphere of influence online or natively. So really definitely helps out the show. So an example after the fact of an email that we've written also includes this really simple, please also go to Google and review our site and give us a 5-star review. So we're also building into this process reputation management so we can enhance our reputation. Sean said that over 450 implementations of Pivotal, and they have a 9.9 out of 10 rating. Could you imagine how many more positive reviews they would get if they sent an email, an automated email, every time an implementation was successful and happened? It gets a lot of people to think about interacting with you online. And again, from a prospect standpoint, you know, when someone goes online and they go to Google and they search for companies, the ones that they always end up clicking on and the ones that always end up higher in the list are those that have positive reviews. And again, I'm not talking about whether it's B2C or B2B or anything. No matter what you're looking for, if you have a lot more positive reviews than neutral or negative ones, and you handle in a transparent way the neutral or negative ones, and you focus on the positive ones, you're what Google is going to think is the expert and the guru. So focus on setting up the reminders through marketing automation so that your salespeople, your operational folks, your influencers, your customers, and now even some guests that came to an event take some sort of action in a positive way to promote you and your company. And that will inherently drive traffic right back to you and help your salespeople with driving leads. As I said before, I'm going to share with you our chatbot automation, which is very cool. It didn't take very long, and this next slide is going to be a little overwhelming, so I'm going to prepare you for it right now. But it's very cool. Once I mapped it out, it was relatively easy and simple, and it only took about 2 hours to put together. So when someone comes to our website, we basically sell 4 kinds of things, right? Websites, graphic design, social media, content, and strategy. So it's, think about it in that context. So I got 4 or 5 different trees that end up running in the same way. A chatbot is a series of automation questions and answers that they can ask. So if you look at this one, it says, what can I help you with? So they're just here getting some tips, or they need help and they want to know what we offer, or they need more leads in sales, which is also a sales pitch, or they want an appointment and I'm going to go directly to my contact form. If they click the first one, they're just here getting some information. We really don't do a lot with them, but the other 3, we're going to take them through a series of question and answers, which will ultimately lead them into a form so that we will know what they're going to answer. So here is the chatbot automation that we set up for the bottom of our screen. And if you go to our website and you click on the little chatbot, you will see the whole thing in place, but it's really not that difficult. So these are the questions. And then right here, based on their answer, they have 4 different answers that they could possibly answer. And then through the answer, they go through it. If they say they're interested in websites or one of our products, eventually, or all of our products because they want an integrated marketing program, they would get a series of emails, and that's what these green dots are. This is our action group email marketing automation workflow that's triggered straight from our chatbot. And then at the end of the day, they all end with either a form, someone's going to fill out a form and there's a sales task, or they end with some information that we're just giving to them and they can go on their merry way and track, and we're going to be tracking what they're doing on their website, which is pretty cool. So again, in the life of the lead, they're going to have that globe, that we visited your website icon with some of this information on it. Because again, it's very critical in the 360-degree view of the customer that you know what they do on your website. You know what action they're taking. You know what email they're opening. You know that they're getting a series of automations, and you know what they're thinking about. So that your salespeople, and again, whether it's an existing customer and your salespeople is farming and trying to upsell them or resell them, or whether they're a new customer and your salesperson is hunting for new business and trying to capture them for the first time and take them away from your competitor to increase your market share, You're trying to give them the tools that they need so that they can work smarter and not harder. And all of these tools, everything that I've shown you, there's a lot of it that can be integrated directly into your CRM system so that your salesperson, when they're working in their CRM system, has the view into what's happening with that particular customer. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak to some of your customers. And if they have any questions about marketing automation or setting it up or anything related to helping to build a funnel so that the salespeople can work smarter and not harder, and giving them the tools that they need to get in touch with you or get in touch with me through you.